Welcome to PEPP Story Live, the show where we're going to be exploring how you can become an outstanding speaker. And tonight we're looking at how you can use nonverbal communications to enhance your speech. So tonight it's all about non-verbal communication, how you can use body language, gestures and such like to improve your speech. And there's quite a difference tonight looking at what you can do on screen when you're looking at the situation I'm in now, just talking to a camera on a small screen compared to being on a stage and trying to communicate to an audience of 100, 1,000, 5,000, where things become a little bit different. So let's get into it now. We're looking at the PEPP story approach: purpose, experience, passion, performance, and story. I'm going to keep reminding you of those because those are the 5 big elements that make up all great speeches. Check out any TED Talk and you'll find that they're always there. We're looking at performance this week and various aspects. Yesterday we were looking at voice and vocal variety. And today we're going to be moving on to the body. What does your body say? How does your body, what's the non-verbal messages that are being sent to the audience? Now, I'll be honest, there's been quite a lot of misinformation around this topic. And it's taken a while for it to become clear just exactly what's going on. One of my favorite speakers of all when I was becoming a speaker and growing up looking at the great speakers was the Reverend Dr. Norman Vincent Peale. He was a minister in the New York Collegiate Church. And he basically, one night, the story of him is that a young girl got stuck in a building and the stairs had collapsed, a building that was being demolished. And she got stuck on the top floor and nobody knew what to do. Everybody was too scared to go up there because everything was unsafe. And Peale had been sent along as a young journalist to help things, and he rushed upstairs, grabbed this girl, put a plank between 2 buildings and edged her across because she was trying to get across, but actually got frozen, and he got up there, risked his life. And that day he said he got a calling to serve people, and went off to become a minister. And he became a great speaker. His church, which had almost nobody attending at all, within 18 months had 6,000 people attending services. And that was because of his incredible oratorial ability. It's a big word to keep going on a Tuesday night, but there you go. He was a great orator. Now, I've seen his speech, Why Positive Thinkers Get Positive Results, a number of times. I've not actually seen him live. Great sadness, I never actually got to meet him. I met his wife, but he died just as I was getting involved in speaking. So I missed meeting him, but I've read his books and I've listened to his speeches. And, his speech, Why Positive Thinkers Get Positive Results, is a seminal speech. It's a fabulous speech. The thing is that he stood behind a lectern pretty much all the time. He never came out, never used lots of gestures. It was all in the power of his voice. Very humorous. And he was, it was as if he was delivering it from a pulpit. He just delivered it from a lectern. But it was just so entertaining. He didn't use much body language. So when you get someone like that, then we get this message that comes out that I started to learn as I was developing as a trainer, that in communication, 7% of the message that gets across is words, 38% is the voice, and 55% is body language. A full 93% of everything you say and communicate is non-verbal. The tone of your voice and the actual body language. Only 7% is in the words. Well, you think, well, that can't be true. You think about great speeches like, Reverend, Dr. King. It was King Day yesterday, I think it was. Anyway, this week has been lots of work on remembering Martin Luther King and that fabulous speech, which was entirely and completely verbal. There was, and people, thousands of people watching couldn't see him. He was just a tiny little figure up on a podium. So you think, well, that can't be true. And actually, when you look at it, you start to find that Professor Albert I always pronounce it wrong, Mehrabian. Mehrabian was not looking at communication of the content of a message. He was looking at likability. How much of likability were you communicating when you were communicating to people? And that was what his study was about. So he wasn't looking at the message, he was looking at you, the person, you, the individual. And that makes a lot of sense. That huge amount of what you are and who you are about is in what you say, in how you say it, and the way you say it, and the body language you use. And surely we've seen this, haven't we, forever? My God, we've had a year of watching politicians paraded up in front of us. Now, way more than we normally do because of the coronavirus. And I'm sitting there looking at these people thinking, I don't trust you. I don't like you. And I'm sorry, it's almost all parties. They seem to have lost their ability to communicate likability, to communicate trust. And I think, well, why is that? Well, think about it. If someone doesn't like you, can you tell? I can. I'm a trans woman, so I get lots of problems where people suddenly discover that I'm trans. They see someone, they think, oh, it's a woman, and they come and meet me, and I talk, and they hear my voice. Oh my God, no, it's not. It's a bloke. And I get all this sort of stuff of, oh, I don't know how to talk. You don't know what to say when you meet somebody who's neither one or the other, or somewhere in between, or well, that's it. That's what I live with. But that's the whole point. That I can tell, even if someone doesn't tell me, I can tell very quickly. This person doesn't like me. They're having a problem with me. I have friends who are black tell me exactly the same thing. They instantly know when there is a problem. And we know because, people start to avoid. And there's a little bit of avoidance. So they're standing near the counter. I'll just not bother. And I've actually seen people leave a store, but rather than come up. I've even had somebody shut down the changing rooms because I was in there so that nobody else could go in. And these are all individual cubicles. They shut the whole lot down. Yeah, absolute crazy. Eye contact. People don't like to hold eye contact. If they don't like you, if they feel uncomfortable with you, they won't look you in the eye. They don't smile. They don't listen. They're not really listening to what you're saying. They're thinking about an exit strategy. How can I get away from this person? How can I avoid them? They'll actually cross the street and walk on the other side of the street, turn around and go the other way. Oh, I suddenly remembered something. And those are the sorts of behaviors, and we see it. We think we can't, but we see it straight away. We know what's happening. The short, abrupt comments, the quickly, let me get out of this conversation. We know when someone doesn't like us. And we know not because of what they say. We know because of the way they say it, because of their body language, because of the shiftiness, because all those things. And sometimes we don't know why we don't like someone. But what we're doing is we're subconsciously reading all of those signals from voice and body, that huge 93% that Mehrabian said was there, and we're seeing it, boom, blatantly, clearly, maybe not even conscious that we're seeing it, and we're back away. And the same thing can happen for a speaker. And this is the problem. If I get up on the stage to speak, if I come here to speak, I want you to trust what I'm saying. I want to be believable. We go back to the origins of what I said when we're trying to deliver a speech. My goal is to get you to remember my message. More than anything else, I want you to remember my message, take action, hopefully remember my name. Those are the three things I'm trying to achieve. But if I can't get my message across, if you listen to my speech and at the 10 minutes later you've forgotten the whole thing, well, we've wasted my time, wasted your time. The whole thing has been a complete waste of time. Achieved nothing. And all too often, that's exactly what happens. The whole exercise is an utter and complete waste of time. And it's a waste of time because we're not tracking this. So what the big word you want to think about in terms of body language, more than anything else, is synchronicity. Is what you're saying in sync with the tone of your voice and with your body language? I remember once seeing the Reverend Ian Paisley And if you don't remember Ian Paisley, he's a very vocal politician from Northern Ireland who was very opposed to the IRA. And I watched him saying, "We will have peace in Northern Ireland at any cost." And when you see those kind of gestures, a voice that's screaming out, of hands pumping a fist and thumping, talking peace, you think, whoa, 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 that's a different kind of peace. That isn't the kind of peace I was thinking of. But also, I've seen people who are very calm and very pleasant, and the topic they're talking about is actually about excitement, engagement, getting out there. If your body isn't saying, let's get there, let's go, if you don't have the excitement and it's a topic that needs excitement, then it's going to be dull and flat, and people are going to say, oh, this is no good, this is boring. So, which is why a lot of young people, a lot of younger people on YouTube channels, it's all energy and excitement, and sometimes that's completely out of sync because the message they're trying to convey isn't in sync with what they're saying. So that's the first thing to think about. Is your energy, your body, your voice, and all of those things, is that in sync with the message you're trying to get across? If you're talking meditation and peace and love, then you probably need to be calm. If you're talking energy, go-getting, success, then you probably need to be quite excited. Not too much. Come to that. Either way, we'll come back to that. Second thing about body language, whether it's online or whether it's on stage, is eye contact. You have to connect with the audience. Now, this is one of the toughest things I'm having to learn, and I'm sure you've seen and thought, oh, she's not getting that right. Yeah, I have to look at the camera to talk to you. And the danger is my eye will stray down just a couple of inches to where I am on screen, so I can actually see what's going on. And every so often I've got to look down because I've got notes and a few things around. Sometimes I have to stick things along the top of the laptop to try and make sure I keep looking at the camera. I have a friend who's got this all cracked. I got a Whizzy setup, Joanne Lockwood, and I'm going to have to follow her and have a look and see, because she's got all sorts of things that make it easy for her to constantly look at the camera and talk into the camera. At the same time, maybe you want me to be normal. We've got to be reasonable. It's not all contact. If I was having a conversation with you one-to-one, I wouldn't be staring into your eyes all the way through that conversation. We'd be having the conversation, glance up, look back, oh my God, look at this. And that's the way it is. And so I want to try and get that's the kind of energy that I want. But also you need to smile, not all the time, not all big teethy grins, but a bit of smile, a bit of, this is about me communicating with you. I imagine there's somebody there, I'm sitting having a chat to them and hoping at some response coming back. And I know there are a few people looking and watching, and that's the whole point about body language. I want you to feel that we're having a chat. We're not in the same room. We might be thousands of miles apart, but it needs to feel like we're having a chat. When I'm on stage in a large audience, you still want that to feel as if I'm having a chat, as if you're the only person in the room and I'm speaking directly to you, which is why my eye contact there goes around the room, rests on different people. Eye contact is important, smiling is important, and then we come to gestures. And there are lots of ways, and I'm not going to go through all the different forms of gestures tonight, because this is really just getting you to start thinking about this in terms of the way you communicate. But if I say, yeah, hands up all those people who have a camera, okay, or whatever I want them to do, hands up all those people who are over 25, hands up all those. If I just say that, a few hands will go up. But if I say, right, hands up all those people who are over 25, then people will automatically put their hand. It's called a prompting gesture. It's a gesture where when I do it, you will probably follow simply because I did it. I led the way. So those are some of the sorts. Now, as you can see, when I did that there, it isn't a kind of gesture that easily works on a small screen. So I have to think of different ways to present that. My gestures need to be toned down when I'm on the small screen. My body movements, when I'm working on stage, I'm backwards and forwards. It's probably a little bit too much. If anything, what's taught me being online is that I have to calm that down, not be bouncing around, because a small movement of my head moving across suddenly is, woo, it's whipping backwards and forwards across the screen. Makes the whole audience going, whoa, what's happening? So we calm down. So there are different things to remember about the medium. The way in which I'm transmitting means I have to think about those gestures. I still talk with my hands. I always have. And I get all excited and enthusiastic. And that's cool. And I think you should think about those gestures in terms of the way you're doing it. If you're telling a story, then I want to see, if you're telling a story, oh my God, it was in so much pain. I want to see you feel as if you're in pain. You act it out, be in it, reconnect with it so that you can actually feel it. I saw this huge mountain. Oh my God. Okay. Now, again, that's much more easily, it's easy. Oh, it's more easy. It's easier to do on stage than it is to do here on a small screen. Sometimes when I'm doing a presentation where I know I'm going to be using a lot of body energy in the speech, then I will reset my setup here. I can raise the light and raise the laptop, drop my screen here, put a flip chart in, and I can do a presentation on screen that's pretty much the same as the presentation I might do on stage. And you'll see much more of me because I'll be standing up. We have to modify things to make it work. If I want to use gestures, big gestures, you need to see more of me. You're not going to get that just from me sitting here. But those gestures are important. The gestures in the facial expressions are really, really important. Not too much. When I did my Lambda diploma in public speaking, the examiner said to me, I was really active in one of the particular speeches, and he said, it was really excellent speech, etc., etc. And he said, however, I would like to say, don't you think that your gestures might have more impact if they came from a place of stillness? I thought, yeah, they probably would. And this is the thing, if you make a gesture and it comes from when you're still, it has so much impact. Whereas if you're moving around all over the place, the gesture just gets lost in the flurry of gestures. So it's important to allow that stillness. I talked yesterday about silence in terms of voice. Allow the audience time to catch up. Slow the pace down. Constant excitement, constant energy. Everybody's going to be exhausted. Oh my God. So just make it gentle. Sometimes I just want to present and just have a little chat. It's a fireside chat. We'll chat to each other like we were in a restaurant having a chat. So make sure, this is the important thing, your body movements and facial expressions support the message you're putting across. You're trying to enhance that. And there are lots of ways you can do that. You remember that sometimes people are sort of watching you. They've got their eye on their phone as well. They're trying to make some notes. And sometimes it just didn't catch what you said. But if you said, I was on the phone talking to my mother, already just by acting that little bit out, you don't need to hear what I said because my body language has told you what I'm saying. And in fact, there are sign languages now which are being developed specifically to help people to communicate their message. It's not like a language for people who are deaf. This is just literally a language of communication for people who find it difficult to follow communication, so you can actually sign. Now, something I've been thinking about, I haven't actually done it yet, but might be worth looking into. So you want gestures to support what you're saying, but don't be distracting. So if you keep on making the same gesture, hands in pockets, clicking with something, clicking with something in your hand, be aware of things that might actually distract the audience, fluttering around all over the place. I sometimes just plant myself firmly one place, speak, then move to another place. And where I move is actually relevant. Moving closer to the front of the stage brings you closer to the audience. So if I want to tell you a secret, I'm going to move in a little bit closer. Here, let me tell you this. You never get, because that's what we do, isn't it? On a face-to-face. If we're doing a face-to-face chat and I want to tell you, hey, you'll never guess what. And all of a sudden you lean in and we have a little conversation that's, this is going to be a bit quiet. This is going to be a bit secretive. These are simple techniques. Just watch what speakers do. Watch how they use their body language. It's really important. It can distract or it can enhance what you say. Don't worry about the 7%, 38%, 55%. Just remember, nonverbal communication is really important. Get it wrong and it absolutely messes your message, because what your body says and what your words say are out of sync. If that happens, people don't trust you, won't believe you. So you've got to get those into sync, and then use body language, facial gestures, vocal tone, intonation that supports the message and helps people to understand that what you're saying. There we go. I shall be back tomorrow with day 19. If no, it's not. Today is day 19. I got those dates wrong. Every day I do that. It's day 20 tomorrow, isn't it? We're on, yeah. Anyway, so tomorrow, day 20. Forget about that. If you need some speaking coaching, you need some help, don't forget. I'm happy to give you 30 minutes just to introduction, just to see what I can do, see if we can work together. Drop me a line, ricky@rickyarundel.com. More than happy to help develop your speeches. I've done a lot of work with lots of executives and professional speakers, as well as people who are starting from nothing. So that's it. Come back tomorrow, and we should be having another little go into a bit more about performance tomorrow. I'm going to be talking about audio visuals, probably a couple of days on audio visuals. I want to look at how we use slides, how we use all those sorts of things over the next few days. So we'll be doing a bit more on the whole performance aspect, but we'll be getting into technology and slides and all the other things that you can do to enhance your speak, get the message, improve the message that you're putting across. Join me tomorrow. Take care.